All right, so my amazing story of serendipitous open sharing came, or one of them anyway, came from last semester. I was teaching a philosophy course to some grade 11 and 12 students um, at a local high school. And we decided to make the course, or I offered to make the course an open online course that people could take as non-credit online participants, and join us in blog topics or listen in on conversations or videos and other recordings we could make of what was going on in class, and really try and preserve and open up as many different aspects of the course as we could. And so a part of that entailed some direct going out and getting people, but one of the things that happened just as a result of the setup was we were streaming a conversation one day at the beginning of our metaphysics unit, and I admitted basically on the first day of the course that I had no formal philosophy training other than being a lit and creative writing major, and had been introduced to some of those names. But anybody I could ever name in a spontaneous end of a sentence, reference to some metaphysician, were inevitably dead white guys. And after a couple of different times that this happened, Gina Garcia, Dr. Garcia on Twitter, who was listening to the stream that day, I can't remember whether private messaged me or tweeted at me and said, something to consider just as an outsider is when you make those references to other philosophers, you should try and include people from, different regions in the world, females, visible minorities, etc. Just expand the notion of knowledge and wisdom on Earth outside of the sort of general one rail there. And so I went to Wikipedia to try and expand this knowledge of metaphysical thinkers, and the Wikipedia list of metaphysicians actually had no females on it. I think maybe Ayn Rand was one of them, but it's debatable whether or not she's a metaphysician, I suppose. And so I thought that was kind of ironic, and I guess I felt a little less bad about anybody I could think of was like Heidegger and Kant and Nietzsche and all these people. So sometime later that day, Gina tweeted me again and said she found a female metaphysician and linked to a Stanford encyclopedia of philosophy reference to a lady named Sally Hesslinger, who's a philosophy professor at MIT. So I took that information, kind of Googled around, found her email address, and sent her a little note and said, here's what we're doing. We're trying to study philosophy out in the open. And this is basically what happened. I came across the Wikipedia article trying to expand my notions of knowledge to include multiple sources and backgrounds and perspectives. And I couldn't find any women. So what do you think, on behalf of my students, why is that the way it is? And she emailed me back the very next morning and said, this is a really good question. I think she had already even started editing the Wikipedia article herself, but she basically forwarded my email on to quite a few other of her colleagues at MIT and other places. And actually one of them posted it on a blog out of her research institute in St. Louis, somewhere, a lady named Bree Brogard, I believe. And then all these people from this other academic community began revising the Wikipedia article. And this was nothing that even our students were doing. I mean, maybe some of them were checking out the article, but it was basically just the ripple effect that came out of our classroom, and a question asked by Gina, who was participating at a distance or remotely, began this snowball whereby Wikipedia's notion of female or other philosophers and metaphysicians expanded because of something we were doing. So it's my awesome open moment.